Hello and welcome to Asteroids 101, where you'll be learning from experts on the subject. From me, Professor Von Busch, and the Atari Video Computer System.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Quadcopter Review. I'm your host, Pepe Prawns. As always, don't forget to like and comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing helps build us up, and liking and commenting helps us on the search engine. You can always look up here in the upper right on any video to see any of the giveaways going on here at the channel. Now, I'm pretty excited about what I have for you here today, guys. I've got the HOBBYMATE Asteroid 3-inch. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of the parts that come with this. This has got the HOBBYMATE D16 FR Sky receiver in it. That's what I chose. It is a Stretch X 145mm, and this is what it looks like right out of the box. It's already been wired up. It's already been shrink sleeved down onto the wire ties. We've got 4mm arms. We've got 2mm base plates on this little guy. We've got the HOBBYMATE 1505 Plus motors. I'm using the 4300 kV motors. Very, very great motors, very efficient. We've got the iFlight board inside of here, and let's talk a little bit about this iFlight board. This is actually a 20x20 35 amp BL Heli 32. Pretty awesome F4 flight controller, and it comes with a VTX that's already there on it, and it is 25, 100, and 200 switcher. The camera itself is an EOS 2, a Caddx EOS 2. We've seen videos on that. Not my favorite, but you know, it works just fine. We've got a huge capacitor on the back, XT30. Love to see those things coming by default out of these quads. The VTX uses a dipole antenna. Again, not my favorite. You know, one thing I would say change is maybe put that out for a lollipop. But otherwise, I mean, it's phenomenal. I'm excited about it, not because I have any loyalties to any brand, but this is like my favorite design. One of my favorite quads of all time was the XT40, and it is very similar in design. It is a Stretch X. It's a flat top. Gives me a lot that I can mount cameras on it and do more things with it. And you have a lot of room there if you want to switch it out for, let's say, a Caddx Turtle. If you want to change it out for one of your HD board cameras, you can put that in there. No problem at all. Motors are juicy. Now I'm using these motors on some other builds too. I'm using it on a 3AF that I'm building here by BQE for Zorro. So we're going to use those motors on it too, and I'm super glad we've got to test these motors out and see how efficient and wonderful they actually are. Plenty of power. This is that model I told you was one of my favorites. This is a Furry-B X140. Still my go-to 3-inch. There's something about the Stretch X and the flat top that I just love. You get a nice stall on your tricks. It might be just the general shape. It creates a lot of drag, and that helps a lot. I'm going to stick these Lumineer 3x4x3s on there. These are something that I was given to try out, and you know, it's worth testing them out to see what they do. And I think they're going to work just fine, but we'll take a look at that once we get into the flight footage, which we're going to take a look at right now. Now remember, all the links for this product and all the parts and pieces using this product will be in the description below and in the comments. So this is the EOS 2. Once again, you might have seen it if you're new to the channel, maybe you haven't, but I went ahead and put some DVR footage in there just so you could see what the EOS 2 looks like. Again, DVR recordings out of Fat Shark, I'd always get the wiggles. I didn't get the wiggles while I was actually flying it. The VTX was actually really, really good. I don't remember any breakups while I was flying. Now, here we are switching over to the Firefly. Now, this Firefly mini action camera is one of my favorites for these little quads. It does 1080 at 30 frames per second, which you can see is way better than, let's say, a Cyclops or SQ12 or 11 or any of those. It's just a way better camera, and it is $20 or less. So look for the links below on that one. If you're wanting to start doing some footage, look down below and you will see that this is a cheap and viable option for you. I also print those mounts for it. You can check that out at pandemicfpv.com, where I sell those. That's my own personal design. I can do it in any angle you like. So here we are, just ripping away. If you look at this, this was my favorite spot. It was once fenced off because they're basically turned this beautiful golf course I had to fly on into a huge neighborhood. Unfortunately, I get to lose this space, but I haven't been here because it's been fenced off for probably 6 months. So I'm just getting reaccustomed to the area while the fence is temporarily down until they're just going to clear everything. These trees won't even be left. Another thing you'll notice on the footage as we look a little bit more, you'll see that all the Spanish moth is completely blowing sideways, which always makes for fun flying when you're doing with that much wind. And in a couple of the power loops, you'll see I just get pushed completely over, and that's just part of the deal when you're flying in the wind. But this thing is so smooth, so strong, powerful, yet nimble and concise in all the movements. I really like this board. I really like, of course, as I mentioned, this particular frame because it's one of my favorite types of frames. So I really enjoy using it, and it's everything I thought it was going to be coming into it, so that makes me super happy. And I certainly, again, I don't do this very often. If you're looking for a 3-inch powerful, fun, this is one to check out. Look at the links below, bypass them, whatever, and go to HOBBYMATE just on your own. Doesn't matter. At this point now, I've crashed I'm no hiding here. I crash, everybody crashes, and some of the edits you'll see, you'll know when I've crashed and just edit it over. You don't want to watch me crash. So what that is I bent the prop at this point, so I'm getting a little bit of oscillation. As you can see in the beginning, there is no jello using this camera. It doesn't have jello. It's a beautiful camera, and the quad itself flies smooth as hell. And as far as any of the vibration goes, that's my own fault for bending the prop. But speaking of those props, as I mentioned, those props are very durable. I mean, I hit pretty hard straight into a tree, and it bent it back, and off we go. And for the most of the footage here, you can see everything's smooth. I'm getting some oscillations in the PIDs. That just needs some fine tuning. I just did a quick manual attempt at pitting it. I didn't want to go aggressive with my aggressive PIDs, so I kind of did a lighter version of it. And we're getting a little oscillation in the props when we're coming down hard and trying to power out of it. So if you're not familiar with West Central Florida, we have a lot of oaks, as you can see that I'm flying in, and we have a lot of Spanish moss. I mean, it's everywhere. There is no clean, beautiful pines to fly like everybody else does. And when you get into this stuff, as you can see, coming down that tree, I should have been able to just pull up and out and under it. Yeah, it would have been close. I would have shaved off some leaves. But with that crap everywhere, that's what happens. You just end up in a bird's nest. You can't turtle mode out of it or everything because it's got all your motors wrapped up, and you pretty much almost in some cases, if you know you've hit it, don't try to turtle mode so you don't burn up your motors or your board trying to power something that's not turning. But it's the nature of the beast. This is why I used to call this spot Charlotte's Web, because it's basically like you're flying through a spider web. That Spanish moss blows left, it blows right. You never know what it's going to do, when it's going to do it with the breeze, and you're just cruising along. And I like to fly close to things. I like to fly in extreme close proximity. You saw probably bushes and sticks that I'm flying close to, that I'm just breezing them, sometimes cutting off the leaves doing it. I don't know, that's fun to me, makes me feel like a bird, so that's what I do. But with this moss, and you do that, and you pay the piper. So several crashes on this flight. Took it like a champ. Didn't even as much, I am over dirt. Didn't even as much dent any carbon fiber or anything like that. So really great product. I'm really happy with it. The build of it was like artwork. Kevin and his team over there, I mean, just outstanding. You wouldn't be more pleased with what this is, how this was built, and how wonderful it looks. But super happy, so glad that it ended up being what I thought it was going to be, and as good as I thought it was going to be. So as always, guys, don't forget to check out the links in the description, in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this on social networks. And as always, guys, happy flying. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out the Quadcopter review. If you want to see more interesting reviews on FPV related stuff, take a look up here in the old right corner right there. You'll find links to all the rest of my reviews. If you want to get in on some of the best giveaways on YouTube, look over here. Don't forget to subscribe right here on my chin. And if you want to check out my flying only videos separated from the review channel, check that out right here. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy flying.